This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Mercer Verdon. The Edmonton Oilers are looking to bounce back in a big way as they're fresh off a brutal 9-1 loss at home to the Colorado Avalanche. Now, we don't need to tell you how bad losing by 8 goals is, but to put that into perspective, it's the largest margin of defeat in the McDavid-Draisaitl era. And while a lot went wrong for the Oilers in that game, how can you look anywhere but between the pipes? As once again, their tandem of Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard got lit up. Sure, Saturday night was far worse than it usually is for the Oilers' goaltending, but let's not act like this hasn't been a struggle for Edmonton for years now. We don't have to look any further than last year's playoffs, for example, as both Skinner and Pickard had a save percentage less than .900. So if Edmonton is serious about competing for a cup in the next few years, is this finally the time they make a goalie change? Who they might add is another conversation entirely, as there are a ton of intriguing options out there, including names like Jordan Binnington, Devin Levi, and UC Saros. But regardless of who it is, it feels like they have to make the move now more than ever, because if not, it's likely to be another disappointing season for the Oilers.
Breaking news! The New York Giants have fired Brian Daboll after a 2-8 start to the season, according to Adam Schefter. Daboll owned a 20-40-1 record over 3.5 seasons with the Giants. Offensive coordinator Mike Kafka has been named the team's interim head coach.
Tonight we have a big one in the NFL. Monday Night Football features the Packers taking on the Eagles. The reigning Super Bowl champions have a commanding lead in the NFC East, and Jalen Hurts has been playing lights out in the last few weeks. That comes after a ton of question marks to start the season surrounding the offense. Hurts in the last 2 weeks combined has thrown for over 500 yards and 7 touchdowns. He had just 8 touchdown passes in the first 6 weeks of the Eagles season. Not only that, but the explosion on offense has also silenced the noise that were surrounding his top 2 targets in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. In those 2 games, they've combined for 19 catches, 388 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns. And that's with Brown missing their last games against the Giants. The Eagles coming off the bye week with a new-look defense as well. They ranked 19th in points allowed at the midway point. And before the deadline, they added a few pieces. Cornerback Michael Carter, 2-time Pro Bowler Jair Alexander, and then on November 3rd, the Eagles landed pass rusher Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins. On the other side of the matchup, the Green Bay Packers are coming off a shocking loss to the Panthers, where the offense only scored 13 points. And Green Bay took a massive hit last week, losing tight end Tucker Kraft, who was out for the season with a torn ACL. Kraft had 32 catches for a team-high 489 receiving yards and 6 tutties. The Packers are looking to get some revenge on the Eagles, who beat them twice last year, including the wildcard playoff game. But if last week was a sign of things to come, it might be difficult. And of course, you can catch the action right here on TSN. It's the Eagles and Packers starting at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 5:15 Pacific. Alright friends, the stage is set for the 112th Grey Cup. It's my Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the Montreal Alouettes. And this is the 3rd time these 2 teams are meeting at the big game. The Alouettes own a 2-0 record in the Grey Cup head-to-head. The legend of Davis Alexander continues, as the Alouettes quarterback, after a big win in Hamilton over the weekend, has moved to 13-0 as a starting QB. That includes regular season and playoffs. And now he's got a chance to win his first ever Grey Cup. Our friends at FanDuel have this one as a close contest. The Rough Riders enter the week as 3.5-point favorites. And for Saskatchewan, it was a gutsy win that needed some late-game heroics from Trevor Harris and his offense against the Lions. They scored the go-ahead touchdown with just 11 seconds left on the clock, ultimately punching their ticket to the Grey Cup. It is the 2nd time Harris finds himself starting in the Grey Cup. And if numbers are anything to believe in, well, his numbers against Montreal have been great. In 2 starts this season, he's passed for 541 yards. So if they are to come out on top, there is no doubt Harris will have to continue that trend against the Owls. We're just under a week away for the 112th Grey Cup. It's the Alouettes and the Rough Riders. And you can catch all the action and festivities on TSN Sunday. Pre-game coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And of course, you know I will be in Winnipeg. In fact, I'm heading there after this show, so we will bring you a bunch of stuff on DSC all week. The second leg of the NSL Final between AFC Toronto and Montreal Roses FC takes place tonight. The game was scheduled to be played on Sunday, but due to inclement weather, it was postponed. And I gotta say, for a first snowfall, in Toronto especially, I was expecting a dusting. This is a full-on dump. AFC Toronto took the opening leg 2-0. So tonight is a big one. Whoever advances will take on the Vancouver Rise in the inaugural NSL Final that will take place at BMO Field on Saturday. And you can catch the action right here on TSN tonight. The game begins at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. That's it for me today. I am packing up and heading on over to Winnipeg, or as Jesse calls it, Peg Vegas or Las Pegas or whatever. We'll see about that. See you tomorrow.